Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and today we have something interesting because it really piqued my interest. I was talking with some friends about various rule sets and whatnot because, as somebody who's got a bajillion models laying around, we're always looking for games to play them with, right? I mean, I know I'm supremely guilty of that, and I doubt I'm the only one. You don't have to raise hands or anything, but yeah. So anyways, I heard about a new rule set coming out from Modiphius, and Modiphius has put out some fun stuff. Had a lot of fun with their Fallout stuff. Really liked their John Carter RPG, at least for the art. I had never got a chance to actually play it, but it seemed like a really cool system. The books are gorgeous, but that's another story altogether. Anyway, I heard they had a new rule set, but not only did they have a new rule set, the book itself came with literally everything you needed to do. And I'm like, okay, well, I figured I was going to get like a big, huge, typical Age of Sigmar Warhammer book that's, like as thick as a junior high algebra book or something. But no, this is what I got. So this is Mythic Commander. This is their new game. And literally everything we need is right there in the packaging. I haven't even opened it yet because I wanted to show you guys how thin. So the rules are about 40 pages according to the blurb on the back, but you actually have everything, and I mean literally everything you need included right here. We actually have a fold-out map. I'm going to guess it's not as thick or as durable as, what they've got in the picture, but you've got all the cards. You also have tokens included for all of the armies, which is really interesting. But it's actually not just a typical hex and chit game. It's actually a miniatures rule system. They even make it a point right here. You just need some 6-sided dice. Mythic Commander is also compatible with any fantasy miniatures that you have. Now, I imagine most of us that have ample collections of figures also have ample collections of dice, so I don't want to hear any belly aching that this doesn't come with any dice to get you started. I mean, there's a bajillion of them anyway. I keep saying that word. So let me open this up, and let's take a look at the actual components included. Thankfully, I've got a nice hobby knife handy. Oh, hey, check that out. So this is the back of the kind of ad sheet. You've actually got army trackers, army generators, and everything you need right there. That's kind of cool. Okay, here is our double-sided map. That is a small map, but considering the size of the counters and everything, it's a very small scale war game. I'm not going to fault them for that. So on this side, you can see we've got like just a typical fantasy layout. We've got bridges crossing the river. We've got some ruins. We've got some trees everywhere. And on the back side is even a more universal, typical grassland. This has got to be like what, like a 2x2? It's quite compact, almost board game size. And I mean, the map seems to do what it needs to do. Could you use a fancier one if you've got them? Absolutely. I'm sure I've got one too. I have to double check the sizes. I don't have them handy. Okay, so here are the tokens included. And I gotta say, the actual thickness of the tokens, fair enough. Artwork seems quite... Ooh, Raiders on Dinosaurs? Quite pleasant for the eyes, you can see here. So everything is actually labeled. That's nice. There are no stats or anything on these tokens. Something to keep in mind. Interesting looking chariots. Ooh, something fell. What am I losing? A command card. Again, the durability, I don't think is going to be too much of an issue. I can see these kinds of counters and markers being more of a concern for the more discerning players. You do have a round breakdown here. So we've got an assortment of cards. And various schools of magic. That's interesting. And then we have the book proper. So I'm going to have to give this a serious look-see. And then I'm thinking I'm going to actually sit down and do a little bit closer inspection. And then what I'm thinking would be kind of cool is to do a follow-up video for you guys and actually figure out playing this with what's included. So I want to say that there's actually various types of armies available. Yeah, check it out. So the factions are actually broken down by archetype. Mage, Rangers, Warriors. Now what's interesting is everybody has the same unit selection, but I don't see them. Well, maybe they do have these same stats. That's going to be an interesting choice as well. Crafty, Undying, Monsters, Siege Engines, Army customizations and upgrades, special units, civilizations. So there's actually a fair amount of stuff here. Equipment upgrades, scenarios in the back, and we have a nice selection of all the rules summarized in the back. I don't know. I mean, just from a first glance, I'm pretty impressed with just the amount of content we have with a single book. I mean, now, the real meat and potatoes is how the game plays. So I'm honestly thinking I'm going to do a follow-up video. If this looks like something, the fact that everything is here, I don't need boxes and crates and multiple containers just to get everything I need. If I want to set this up, something to play on the go, something to take with me on vacation, I'm liking what I see. Obviously, we probably are going to want to collect all of these cards. If I can actually manipulate them with my fingers after I cut my fingernails, that's always a challenge. But, yeah, outside of picking up all of the materials and figuring out what you're going to need for a game, I mean, most of the components right here, everything is included outside of the dice. And I mean, if you've got a phone or old dice handy from whatever game, the old dice from the Pirates of the Spanish Main game are some of my favorite for taking on vacation. Just the sheer fact that they're so teeny tiny. I dumped them all in my in-laws' house, actually. I've got like a box of them. But honestly, this is pretty cool. So give me some time. I'm going to digest these rules. But like I said, the fact that we've got all of the various types of breakdowns of typical fantasy units. It is only fantasy, at least at this point. Who knows? Maybe we'll see a sci-fi version. Brutal factions, skillful factions. I mean, I'm assuming that a lot of you could figure out where you're going to fit your typical fantasy army in here. My only thing is going to be the size of the squares on the map. This is probably going to be closer to smaller scale stuff. I mean, I don't know if you have like War Master stuff handy, but like epic models, if you've got them based, obviously are going to be perfect for this size. But then again, epic is sci-fi. Grabbing, I don't know, typical 28mm figures, 25mm bases. I know some of these are just totally, completely random. Well, I guess there's a bunch of Wadroon stuff. I guess if you wanted to use actual miniatures, larger size stuff to represent entire units, that would be entirely possible if you wanted to have each of the units actually broken down and represented by a figure as like an actual warband skirmish or something. That could do. I think the issue is going to be more if you have figures that are obviously, you know, on ridiculously large bases. Now, granted, we're playing a small scale game. I don't think this is going to be the best representation, but using other, you know, typical models that can actually fit in the base. I got to check the rules out, like I said. So please keep your eyes peeled. I will be doing a follow-up video on this. I'm liking what I see. I like that everything is here, and I really want to take a look, and I'm going to try it out with the included counters. So if this looks like something of interest to you, I'm going to put a link down on Modiphius' page. Take a look, and like I said, keep your eyes peeled, and we will hopefully have a follow-up video in the fairly near future, taking a look at both how the game plays and how it can work with both the counters and the miniatures. So, with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye!